Okay, so I read the book Blindsided, and I'm going to choose the character, what was her name? Natalie, the main character. And I'm going to do this one right here, that do any of the characters change during the story. Right there. And if so, how are they different? What changed them? And did it seem believable? She definitely changed because she was so against the idea of going blind and learning the things she needed to learn. And in the end, she was like, well, I mean, I guess I do kind of need to learn this stuff if and when I go blind. And she ended up, paying attention, doing the things her teacher told her to do, and yeah, it seemed really believable, because, I mean, as she lost more and more of her eyesight, I think it became more real for her that this is going to happen one day. She's not going to be able to see, and she needs to know these, what she called stupid tasks. Yeah. So for the plot question, I decided to go with that one. What handicaps did the main character have to overcome? If you were the main character, would you have been able to overcome the challenges and explain? I think that the handicap, well, it wasn't really overcomeable because the handicappedness, is that even a word? It's a word now. The handicappedness was that she was slowly going blind. I don't really think there was any way she could have prevented it. I mean, she took the eye drops, didn't strain her eyes, didn't let the sun in her eyes, but, I don't really think there's any way that you can, not become blind. Unless there's some magical way and I just haven't heard of it yet. But I think one of the, air quote, handicappednesses that she had overcome was, actually accepting, hey, I'm going blind. And there's special things to help me when I may go blind. And I think that when she actually went and she overcame that was just that was her hardship. If I were the main character, would I have been able to overcome that challenge? I actually think I might have been able to overcome that challenge a little faster than she did, because it took her so long, and she went back home and she moped about it. And I mean, I guess going blind is inevitable for when you have that disease. I mean, I probably won't go blind unless I have some sort of freak accident, but I mean, for her, with the disability she had, her going blind, even though her doctor never said, oh yeah, you will most likely go blind, I think a part of her knew she was going to go blind, and she pushed it away. She was like, I'm not going blind, I'm fine, this isn't happening, none of this is going on, and I'm just going to push it away, I will get better. Because in the beginning, her doctor had said that there had been a slight chance she could get better, but not to get her hopes up. Obviously, she got her hopes up, but yeah. I think I would be able to overcome it. I mean, just face it. You're gonna go blind. Probably. Yeah. That's mine. Yeah. So, for my setting question, I'm doing the... Sorry. I'm telling my reaction to our reaction to a particularly interesting passage. It would probably be when she's describing the night scene when they're walking back to the school. Because, for these mostly blind girls, the blind girl, it's dark. And it's dark on top of that, and she made it pretty eerie. This isn't a super creepy book, but it's pretty creepy. And so they're, walking, and so they have to use their other senses, so they hear this noise that, it's not too weird for their setting, but it's also not, oh yeah, that's totally normal. Obviously they can't turn and see who it is, or what it is, or what's going on, so they just push it off, oh yeah, whatever, but then they hear another noise, which is when it all starts, and I don't know, it was just, I was creeped out, my hands were sweaty, I was actually reading that part on the bus, and I'm sitting there, I can imagine it so vividly, like, I swear I'd been to this place before, and, oh, it was creepy. She did really good at describing the walking back scene. I really like that. So, for the resolution, I'm doing, how did the author leave the reader? Was the ending satisfying? Explain. So this one right here. The author left me, I'd say pretty, I mean, you know, they're like talking to the guy about the school and whatever, and I mean, it would have been nice to like know what would have happened if they went to the school and if they had, you know, to continue their lives, but it was really satisfying. I mean, Natalie went and she was fine with herself after a while. She was like, yeah, you know, I've got this and this, but I've also got all these friends and all these people and these new skills I've learned, and I don't know, it felt like she was finally accepting her fate and her life, and I feel that was rather satisfying, because the entire, like, half the book, excuse the wind, like, the entire half the book, I was like, just, okay, that's really creepy, but I was just like, you know, just accept it, just learn these skills, they'll probably be useful to you, and if not, hey, they're in your back pocket for if anything happens to anyone, yourself, your parents, your best friends. Just get over your little fear of not being normal and just learn what's going to help you. So her learning these skills and using these skills, and I don't know, I felt really good about that. I was just like, yes. It just made me happy. I felt it was really good. It was a good ending. There very well could be a sequel to this book. There's not, as far as I'm aware. But there could be. I mean, what do they go to the school? How is the school? How do they face the hardships they've already had and what they come to? And oh, it was good though. The ending was very good. So for the narrative and title, I'm gonna do, it's really big. I'm gonna do was the book title appropriate? Do you think, does the title grab you and make you want to read the book, and explain? So, the title of the book is Blindsided. I'm just gonna skip to the second one, because, we'll get back to the first one in a minute. The title does grab me. I mean, just yes. And, I mean, because blindsided can mean so many different things. It can literally mean so many different things. But I mean, if you look at I don't know even what you want to call it, but right there, what would you do if you couldn't see your future? That kind of gives something away. I don't know, that also grabbed me a little bit, but I do read the backs. I start reading the couple pages. It did grab me. I really wanted to read it. I mean, again, blindsided can mean so many different things. And I was just like, well, what's gonna happen? Now we're getting on to the spoilers. I can't think of a way to answer this part of the book. Good job. This part of the question without a spoiler. So, blindsided. The term blindsided usually means that you don't see it coming, right? Am I right? Or am I crazy? But, I mean, Natalie knew she was gonna go blind, most likely, and I don't see how blindsided could be called blindsided because she knew it was coming. She just really knew it was coming. The spoiler is she actually does end up going blind, but I mean, she knew that was gonna happen anyway, so I feel it is kind of appropriate because, I mean, she woke up one day and she couldn't see. It started really gradually, but then one morning, boom, just nothing. So, I mean, it's kind of appropriate, but also kind of isn't. I don't know where I really stand on that part of the question. I honestly don't. Those are my opinions. Yeah. So, for the theme part, I'm doing what, if anything, can be learned from this novel? What was the author showing about life and living throughout the story? I really think that she was like that you take what you're given in life. Like, Natalie was given this eye disease thing, and she slowly started losing her eyesight, but she pushed it away, and she only started accepting what was happening until after she went blind. And I feel that it's not really a good way to go. She knew she was most likely probably going to, at least maybe, partially going to need these skills, and she pushed them away. She pushed her teachers away. She's like, I don't want to be like those freaks. And she thought of these kids that were just like her as freaks. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, but you're one of them. And I don't know, it baffled me. And I think really what can be learned is that take what you're given. Don't complain, I guess. And like, when someone's trying to help you and you know it's something that can actually be helpful, don't push them away. That hurt Natalie so much in the book because she pushed these people away, and by the time she actually realized, hey, I do need this stuff, she already went blind, and I don't know, I guess it wasn't as much help then. I mean, it still was, but it was a lot harder to learn these stuff blind than seeing. I don't know. For the mood, I'm going to do the discuss the emotions the book invoked the reader. Was the funniest part, saddest, most exciting, or strangest thing that happened? Did anything make me feel frightened or angry? So, the emotions of this book, they're kind of nerve-wracking for a minute, because, I mean, so many things happened that, Natalie I've been saying this for the past, 3 slides, and I'm sorry to repeat myself this much, but she was pushing those people away of things she actually needed to know and learn, and I don't think anything was more important than this, honestly. But, I could feel her attitude, because, she didn't totally show an attitude, but she was not happy to be there. She was not happy with the people she was with. She was not happy about the classes she had to take, and I felt that. I was like, for some, brief moments, I was like, why is she even doing this? And then it clicked in my head again, oh yeah, she needs this. And I was like, alright, just alright. The funniest part, I'll get back to that one. The saddest, spoiler, that should be in red, but oops. The saddest part was definitely after the attack, when Bree goes to the hospital, and then Natalie comes back, and we find out about Bree's past, and how she played that game, and, the aneurysm. I cried. I sat on the bus, and I cried. Bree died. she played this stupid game because she was peer pressured into doing this, and she died because of it. And I was so sad because because she was not happy to be there either, but she started using the things that she was being taught. Her and Natalie were becoming really great friends, and then she went and she died, and it wasn't her fault, but I was sad. I sat there and I cried. And Mom laughs at me because I get so attached to these characters, but I mean, they like represent people I feel I know, and I don't know. I'm crazy. I know. The most exciting or strangest thing that happened in the book, well, definitely strange was when, spoiler, was when the bear came, and now Natalie's blind. She's helping her goat give birth, and her friends over there never used a gun, and this girl never used a gun, shoots this bear. Well, blind Natalie is going and helping deliver this baby goat, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, what even? That was one of the best parts of that book. And I mean, the bear dies, and they're safe, and the baby's born. The baby's all good, and I don't know. It was just, I panicked. That was awful. Frightened I was definitely frightened during the attack scene, because I mean, I could picture this so vividly, and I could see this happening to like anyone, and I was angry when Bree died. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you learn about her past after she dies, and about what all happened. I mean, she was gonna be a dancer. She was gonna go places, and it made me really mad. I'm probably insane, and it's just me who's mad about this, but I was mad. But the funniest, we're gonna go back to the funniest part. I don't know. There's a lot of things that made me chuckle. They don't come to mind now, but I mean, there were funny parts. I'm not saying this was just this book full of tears and anger and just frightenedness, and this was just, it was a really good book. I just can't think of any funny parts right now.